Hi, my name's Rob Millis. I'm in Climax Golden Twins. We're from Seattle. Climax Golden Twins, let's see, Jeff and I started playing together in '92. Climax Golden Twins was kind of officially born in '94, so it's almost our 10-year anniversary coming up. And we're actually going to have a little art show in Seattle at an art gallery of all the cover designs, most of which Jeffrey has executed over the years. So, and Jeffrey came up with the turtle logo too, and that'll be part of it. I was pointing. You need to show that. So, you'll see Scott wearing a T-shirt of that later. So that's where it all started. '78 started for me a long time ago. Lots of weird reasons why, but 6, 7, 8 years ago, got really into it. Started buying a lot of stuff, started buying the old players. Jeffrey started buying the old players, and 78s too. Scott's got a whole stack of them. And we started putting together these compilations, and as time's gone on, we've really amassed some pretty cool stuff. A lot of, especially, well, in Seattle it's really easy to get Asian records. We have a lot of Japanese, a lot of Chinese records, but we have a pretty strange collection of stuff from all over the world. One of the reasons I love them is the labels, and a lot of that shows up in some of the designs that we do for stuff for our releases. How's that sound?
Sounds wonderful.
I like the old scratchy quality of them. What is it? The clouds of history, they're all dirty. They've just been passed through all these people's hands for 80, 100 years. I love that. You know, that there's these physical objects that people have been holding on to their whole lives, or passing through garage sales and antique stores. So we sample a little bit from them on our record, especially our most recent record. We use old acetates that have come. We find them in junk stores too. Initially, we really like the old records from the 20s, but when looking for those, we find a lot of acetates, home-recorded records from the 30s and 40s that are also played at 78, and so we've been using those a lot. For me, it's all about sound. I just love sound. I've always have ever since I was a kid. Listening to whatever it was, echoey footsteps as a kid, or the Foley in films, always really appealed to me. And I think that's, you know, and as I grew up and I started playing in shitty bands, one shitty band after another. No, some of them were great. The thing I always wanted to explore was like putting weird little tape collages at the beginning and the end, or the end of stuff, or, you know, there was old records, rock records, whatever, and the songs that always really appealed to me were the ones that had something else in them besides the guitar, bass, drums combo. And when Jeffrey and I started playing together, that really kind of clicked, because we would be doing field recordings on cassettes or whatever, finding old things and incorporating that into the music in a collage sort of way. And that's what I loved. And Scott was right in there. Scott was really happy. Scott joined a little bit later, 95, 96. We started working with Scott, and he was really into trying to experiment with strange sounds, strange recording techniques, so it all sort of worked together pretty well.
Now for something mellow.
recording is kind of a stupid, weird term that I don't necessarily like. Environmental recording, ambiance recording, I don't know. For me, it's just all...
It's shorter than those two.
Yeah, perhaps less pretentious. We're an environmental electroacoustic band. No, it's all about just different qualities of sound, found sounds, different ambiances, different places where things have been recorded, different microphones used to do it. And I love the juxtaposition of recordings in strange places with music we've done in the studio. We had a horrible experience with a karaoke film in Seattle. No, it's a great film. It's really funny. We just saw it. They used a couple of different tracks from our rock record, the one with the polka dots, and it's really funny because they use it during the guys in the film are making a film, and they use it during they use most of our music during one of their early experimental films. So that totally cracked me up. We've actually done film soundtracks. We did a soundtrack to a horror film called Session 9, and we've also done unheard stuff, unseen stuff as well. We've also stolen stuff, or at least I have, from film soundtracks, especially dialogue, things like that, to use. Go to Asia as often as I can. I've been working with the Sublime Frequencies people on doing the films of like the Nat Pui film. I love that. I love strange Asian festivals, and a lot of that grew out of simply doing the recordings there, of traveling, and the sound was really great, and we'd record them and use little bits of it, and then I started really looking into the traditions, the mythologies behind the music, and I became much more interested in the cultures too, and now I'm kind of starting to get interested in documenting that. was an amazing experience. I did a lot of recording and filming there, both Burma, Laos, Cambodia, and also Thailand. And I really wanted to put together something that as CGT, we'd done a field recording disc that was the folded cardboard one, and that one was very specifically not. It was meant not to be about where the places were. It was meant purely as interesting textures and qualities of sound, all made from homemade recordings from places, whether it was on cassette or DAT or whatever, but not stuff done in a studio, and then we collaged it together. But the disc I did on Anomalous was much more about, this was a really great music performance that I happened to capture. This was a really interesting ambiance, and I laid it out a little more of specific places, kind of an encapsulation of the trip that I did, but also meant to be a little more impressionistic. To, I know that, for example, some of the recordings that I made, it wasn't the finest example of a Cambodian court orchestra or temple orchestra, but it was the one that I saw, and things were happening during it, and I really like that. There's there's something on the CD where a Cambodian orchestra is playing, and there's a guy using a water pump, one of those old water pumps in the background, and it just made this great kind of duet, and that's the sort of thing I love, these strange happenstances, circumstances. So that's kind of what I was looking for in that CD.
Climax Golden Twins, this is the theme from Climax Golden Twins, this is the theme from Climax Golden Twins.
We never really plan things specifically. It just sort of becomes what we've been listening to, what we've been messing around with, sort of translates itself into the new record that we happen to be working on. Jeffrey just walked in. We should have him come out and answer some questions. How's that sound?
Every moment seems like an hour. I cannot sleep, I cannot rest. Mommy dear, you ask your mother if my wife you will be. She says no, you come, you tell me I can't ever bother thee.
It's really great to be here in Alston.
Lock up your daughters.
I want both of these video cameras to go away.
So Jeffrey, why don't you tell us about your beard? Don't look at me, look at him.
Look at me when I'm talking.
No.
All right, he won't say anything if I'm standing here, so. to us in New York, came up to me in New York and said, so what, is Climax Golden Twins Sun City Girls? And we'd just like to say for the record right now, Jeffrey, what would we like to say?
Well, yes, of course. We are Sun City Girls. What more do you want to know? I look just like Charlie and Alan and Rick, rolled into one. And my hair's getting thinner. Fuck this shit. Here, give me this.
Fuck this shit!